Welcome to Tungal Online Classes. In previous video, we had discussed the concept of total energy of a satellite, geostationary satellite, polar satellite. After that, the principle of superposition. So after that, we have solved some numericals. So today, we are going to solve some numericals on the basis of the principle of superposition. See the problem here. Three particles of identical mass m are kept on a vertices of an equilateral triangle. Of each side length is a. Find the gravitational force of attraction on any one of the particle. Right? So this problem is based on the principle of superposition. So already we know that the principle of superposition means, so consider a particle of mass m. It is surrounded by the another masses m1, m2, m3, so on m suffix n, and r1, r2, r3 and r suffix n be the distance of the particle from the unit masses, right? Okay, so then force of attraction between these two is F1 and the force of attraction between these two is F2 and the force of attraction between the mass m and m3 is F3 and the force of attraction nth particle and the unit mass, so that is F suffix n. So then the net force acting on the unit mass m, that is the vector sum of the force due to the another masses. Here the net force acting on the unit mass, so that is the vector sum of the forces due to the other masses surrounded by the unit mass. So then the net force acting on this mass is the net force that is equal to F1 plus F2 plus F3, so on F suffix n. So then the net force acting on the unit mass, so that is the vector sum of the forces surrounded by the other masses, right? Okay. See here, in this problem they are given three particles of identical mass m are kept on the vertices of an equilateral triangle of each side length is a. Find the gravitational force of attraction on any one of the particle. Okay, see here, consider this is an equilateral triangle, right? So in this case, we have placed three particles on the vertices of the triangle. So this is first particle, second particle, and this is the third particle. So in this case, they are given the masses of each particle. So that is the first mass of the particle is m, and the second mass of the particle is also m, third particle of mass is also m, and the distance between the two particles is also given, that is a. The distance between these two particles is given, that is a. The distance between these two particles is, that is a, and here is also it is a, right? So in this case we are going to find out gravitational force of attraction on any one of the particle, right? So consider this is the first particle, second particle and third particle. So in this case we are going to find out what is the net gravitational force acting on the first particle. For that one, first we have to find out what is the force of attraction between first particle and the third particle. So here we are assuming that this is our first particle and this is our second particle and this is our third particle. So here we are going to find out the net force acting on the first particle due to the second particle and the third particle. So first one, we are going to find out what is the force of attraction between first and third particle. It is noted by F1 force, right? So F1 force. Here the next one, we are going to find out what is the force is acting between first particle and the second particle. So that is F2 force. That is F2 force. Okay, see here. Already we know that the formula to calculate the force, that is force is equal to G into capital M into small m divided by R square, right? So in this case they are given the mass of first particle is also m, the mass of second particle is also m, mass of a third particle is also m. So then m1 is equal to m2 is equal to m3 is equal to, that is m. Then the distance, that is r, is equal to a. Substitute here. So F1 is equal to F1 force, that is equal to G into mass of first particle is also m, mass of a second particle is also m, divided by the distance, that is a square. So this is equal to G into m square, G into m square divided by a square. So this is our equation number 1, right? So here the F1 force acting in this direction, that is G m square divided by a square. Similarly, we are going to find out the force between first particle and the third particle. So that is F2 force, that is equal to, here is also same, capital G. The mass of a first particle is m, mass of a second particle is also m into m, and the distance is, that is a square, that is equal to Gm square divided by a square, Gm square divided by a square. So this is our equation number 2, right? Okay. The first one, the force due to the third particle, and this is force due to the second particle. So next we are going to find out what is the resultant and what is the net force acting on the particle 1 or particle of mass m. Okay, see here, this is one force and this is another force. The resultant force is acting in this direction. The resultant force is acting in this direction, and this is an equilateral triangle, means the angle between the F1 force and the F2 force, so that is 60 degree. So here we will write, so theta is equal to that is 60 degree, right? Because this is an equilateral triangle, so then the sum of all the internal angle, that is equal to 180 degree. So then the angle between the first vector, that is the F1 vector, and the F2 vector, that is 60 degree. So already we know that to find out the resultant force, so that formula is that is the resultant force, that is equal to under root of F1 square plus F2 square plus 2 F1 into F2 cos theta, 2F1 into F2 cos theta. Here the resultant force formula, that is F1 square plus F2 square plus 2F1 F2 cos theta. Here theta value is, that is 60. Okay, see here. So in this case the force F1 and F2 are same. So then we will write as F1 is equal to F2 is equal to F. So substitute the value here. Then the resultant force, that is equal to under root of F square plus F square plus 2F into F cos theta, right? Okay, see here. So F square plus F square means that is a 2F square. This is equal to 2F square plus, this is also F into F is 2F square cos theta. So take 2F common, take 2F F square common. So then 2F square is a common, remaining is 1 plus cos theta, 1 plus cos theta. Then the resultant force, that is equal to under root of 2F square as it is 1 plus cos theta value. The 1 plus cos theta value is, that is 2 cos square theta by 2, 2 cos square theta by 2. So then, so 2 into 2 is 4. Then the resultant force, that is equal to under root of 2 into 2 is 4, 4F square cos square theta by 2. Resultant force, that is equal to under root of 4F square cos square theta by 2. So take the square root of this one. Then the resultant force, that is equal to 2F cos square, square root of cos square is, that is cos theta by 2, right? So the resultant force, that is equal to 2F cos theta by 2. Here what is the theta value? So theta value is 60 cos theta by 2. So 60 by 2 means that is 30. Then the resultant force, that is equal to 2F as it is, cos of 60 divided by 2. Cos 60 by 2 is, that is cos 30. 2F into cos 30. 2F into cos 30. So then what is the value of cos 30 here? So then the resultant force, that is equal to 2 into F cos 30 value is root 3 by 2. Here 2 get cancelled. The resultant force, that is equal to root 3 times of force, or the resultant force, that is equal to root 3 into the force value is, that is Gm square divided by A square. Gm square divided by a square. So this is the resultant force acting on the particle of mass m, right? Okay, see here in this problem they are given the three identical mass are placed around the vertices of the equilateral triangle. So here we are going to find out what is the net force acting on any one of the particle, right? So here we are assuming that we are going to find out the net force acting on the particle of mass m. So this is a particle, right? Okay, see here, this is first particle, second particle and third particle. The mass of each particle is same. Here we are going to find out the net force acting on the particle 1, right? So that's why first we have to calculate what is the force of attraction between these two particles, that is F1. After that we are going to find out what is the force of attraction between 1 and 2 particles, that is F2, right? So already we are find out F1 and F2 value. Okay, see here, after that, so force is the vector quantity, so one vector is in this direction and another vector in this direction. The resultant force acting along in this direction. With the help of a law of parallel of vector addition, we are going to find out the resultant force acting on the first particle. The formula is the resultant force equal to under root of F1 square plus F2 square plus 2 F1 F2 cos theta. Here F1 and F2 values are same. Substitute the values, then it becomes 2f square plus 2f square cos theta. Take 2f square common, so then it becomes 1 plus cos theta. So 1 plus cos theta value is, that is 2 cos square theta by 2, right? So the result is under root of 4f square cos square theta by 2. Take the square root of this one, then the resultant force equal to 2f cos theta by 2. 2f cos theta by 2. Already we know the theta value, that is 60. 60 by 2 is 30. The 2f cos 30. So the resultant force equal to f into cos 30 value is under root of 3 by 2. Here 2 get cancelled. The resultant force equal to under root 3 into f. See the problem here. Three equal masses m are placed at three corners of an equilateral triangle of side length a. The force exerted by this system on another particle of mass m placed at the midpoint of one side, midpoint of the one side. Okay, see here, what are the given terms here? So that is m1 is equal to m2 is equal to m3 is equal to m. The mass of each particle, so that is same, then m1 is equal to m2 is equal to m3 is equal to m, and the length of each side is given, that is a, right? So here we are going to find out the net gravitational force acting on the particle of mass m placed at the midpoint of a one side, right? Okay, see here, consider this is a mass of first particle and this is a mass of second particle and this is a mass of a third particle, right? Okay, see here, this is m and this is also m and this is also m. The distance between these two particles is given, that is a, right? So afterwards we are going to find out what is the net force acting if the particle is placed at this position, exactly middle of this one. So the mass of this particle is also same, that is m. The total distance is a. From the distance from this point to this point, that is a by 2. From this point to this point, that is also a by 2, right? Okay, see here, the distance from this particle to this particle is a by 2 and this particle to this particle, that is a by 2. So here we are going to find out the net force acting on this particle. The first force, the force between these two particles, that is F1 in this direction, and the force between these two, F2, that is in this direction, right? So afterwards we are going to force exerted by the third particle, so that is F3 in this direction. So first one we are going to find out the F1 and F2 value. Okay, see here, the first one we are going to find out the F1 and F2 value. So F1 is equal to G into M1 into M2 divided by R square, right? So here G value is same, the mass of each particle is same, M1 is also same, M2 is also same. So then M into M, so that is M square divided by the distance is, that is A by 2 square. This is equal to 4 gm square divided by a square. So this is our equation number 1. So that is 4 gm square divided by a square. So then F2 is equal to, here is also same, the masses is same, formula is G into M1 into M2 divided by r square. So then g into mass of this one, m into m, that is m square, divided by the distance is, that is a by 2 whole square. This is equal to 4 gm square divided by a square. This is our equation number 2, right? Okay, next. So in this case, the force F1 is acting in this direction, right? So the another force F2 is acting in this direction, both having equal magnitude, but both are in opposite direction. So both are in opposite direction means the net force acting along in this direction is 0, right? Okay, we will see that one. The next one, F3 is equal to, then what is the distance from this point to this point, right? Okay, see here, we are going to find out the distance from, for example, this A point and this is the B point, right? So first one, this is equilateral triangle. The equilateral triangle means the angle between this one is, that is 60 degree, right? So here we are going to find out what is the value of, that is AB. Let us assume that this is C. So see here, from triangle ABC, from the triangle ABC. So from this one we are defining sin theta. So theta value is 60, sin 60 is equal to AB divided by AC, right? So here we want AB value. AB is equal to AC into sin 60, So what is the AC value here? AC value is, that is A, sin 60 value, that AB is equal to A into sin 60 value is, that is root 3 by 2. So then the AB value from this point to this point, its value is root 3 by 2. So then find out the force here. Then G, mass of this one m and this also m, that is m square, m into m is m square. Next, distance r square. So the distance is A into root 3 by 2 square. This is equal to 4 gm square divided by 3a square. 4 gm square divided by 3a square. Okay. See here, this is our equation number 3. So this is our equation number 3. The net force on a particle of mass m placed at midpoint. Okay, see here, the first one, F1 force is in this direction, F2 force is in this direction, F3 force is in this direction. The net force means, that is F1 plus F2 plus F3. So in this case, these two forces are equal in magnitude but in opposite direction. Both the forces are get cancelled. What is the remaining is, only F3 force is acting on this particle. That F3 force value is, that is 4 by 3 into gm square divided by a square. Okay, see here, the net force acting on this particle, that is equal to F1 plus F2 plus F3, right? So in this case, F1 and F2 both are equal in magnitude. Let us assume that is F, so but in opposite direction. So then the net force, that is equal to F1 value is, that is F. Next, F2 value, that is in opposite direction means, that is also F minus F plus F3 Here this force get cancelled. The net force acting on the particle of mass m, that is equal to F3, that is 4 g m square divided by 3a square. So this is the solution of this problem. Okay, see here, in this problem they are given the three masses. M are the places at the vertices of the equilateral triangle, and the sides of a equilateral triangle is given, that is A. So here we are placed the one more particle of mass m at the midpoint of this axis, right? Here we are going to find what is the net force acting on the particle of mass m. The first one we are going to find out the F1 and F2 value, and after that F3 value, right? Okay, see here, in this case the force F1 and F2 both are in equal in magnitude but in opposite direction. These two forces are get cancelled. The remaining is the F3 force only is acting on this particle. The F3 force value is, that is 4 gma square divided by 3a square, right? So the net force is equal to, that is F3 value is 4gm square divided by 3a square. See the next problem here. Three bodies of each masses m are placed at three corners of a square of a side A. The gravitational force on unit mass m kept at the fourth corner is, right? So in previous problem, we are placed the three identical masses on the vertices of an equilateral triangle, but in this case they are given three bodies of each masses m are placed at the three corners of a square. A side is A. The gravitational force on a unit mass m kept at the fourth corner is. Okay, see here. So the mass of all the particle is same. m1 is equal to m2 is equal to m3 is equal to m4 is equal to m1 is equal to m2 is equal to m3 is equal to m4 is equal to m, and the side length is, that is A, right? Okay, see here, consider, so the square, so this is the first particle, second particle, and this one is the third particle, and the fourth side is also we are placed a unit mass, that is m, right? Okay, see here, the distance between these two particles is A, the distance between these two particles is also A, and the length of each side of this particle is, that is A, right? Okay, see here. The next one, we are going to find out what is the net force acting on the fourth particle. So this is first particle, second particle, third particle, and this one is the fourth particle. Here is also same. First we have to find out what is the force between these two, fourth particle and the third particle. After that, what is the force between first particle and the fourth particle, that is F2. So let us assume that this force is F1 and this force is F2. So afterwards we are going to find out what is the force, of attraction between these two, that is F3, right? So afterwards we will find out the resultant force. Okay, the first one we are going to find out what is the force of attraction between the particle 3 and particle 4. So that is, the force is F1. F1 is equal to formula G into m1 into m2. Here the mass of this particle is also m, the mass of this particle is also m, and this also same, and this is also same. Then formula G equal to m1 into m2 divided by r square. Here m1 and m2 value is same, m into m is m square, that is G into m square divided by a square. G into m square divided by a square. The next one, F2 is also same. F2 is equal to same. The distance is also same. The masses are also same. So then the result is G into m1 into m2 divided by r square, that is equal to G m square divided by a square. So this is our equation number 1 and this is our equation number 2. The next one, F3 force. F3 force. Okay, see here. Here this length is A and this length is A. Next we are going to find out what is the length from fourth particle to second particle. Fourth particle to second particle with the help of the Pythagoras theorem, that is AC square is equal to AB square plus BC square. So that is A square plus A square, that is 2A square. So then AC is equal to, that is under root of 2 into A. Okay, see here, then F2 is equal to G into m1 into m2 divided by r square. Here this value is G as it is, mass is same, m into m is m square divided by r value is, okay, see here, how to find out the r value. So let us assume that this is a A point and this is a B point and this is a C point. Then AC square is equal to, from this triangle, AC square is equal to AB square plus BC square, right? AB square value is, AB value is A, then it is A square plus, and this value is also A square. So this is equal to 2A square. So then AC is equal to under root of 2A square. So that is equal to root 2 into A, root 2 into A. So then the distance from this to this is, that is root 2 into A, root 2 into A whole square. This is equal to gm square divided by 2A square. gm square divided by 2a square. So this is our equation number 3. Equation number 3. Okay. Next one. So this is F3 force. So then this is F1 force and this is F2 force. Both are vectors. So the one vector is acting in this direction, the another vector is acting in this direction. So next one we are going to find out the resultant force acting on this particle due to F1 and F2 force, right? So that is resultant force is equal to under root of F1 square plus F2 square plus 2F1 into F2 cos theta. 2F1 into F2 cos theta. Here theta, the angle between the F2 vector and the F1 vector is 90 degree. If cos 90 is equal to 0, cos 90 is equal to 0. So then the resultant force that is equal to, right, that is under root of F1 square plus F2 square. F1 square plus F2 square. Then 2F1 F2 cos 90 equal to 0. 0 into any term is 0. The remaining is the resultant force that is equal to under root of F1 square plus F2 square. See here the F1 F2 values are same, right? Then F1 F2 is equal to, that is F. Okay, see here, that is F1 F2 is equal to F. So substitute the value here. Then the resultant force that is equal to F square plus F square. F square plus F square, that is under root of 2F square, that is equal to under root 2 into F. Under root 2 into F. See here. So this is a resultant force, that is root 2 into F, right? So then the net force acting on this, right? So the net force acting on the particle of mass m, so that is equal to, the net force is equal to, the net force that is equal to, that is the resultant force plus F3. The resultant force is also same direction, the F3 force is also same direction. Then the resultant force or the net force acting on the particle of mass m, the net force that is equal to F resultant force plus F3 force. Here what is the resultant force here? The resultant force value is, that is root 2F, root 2 into F plus F3 is equal to, so that is gm square divided by a square, right? Okay, gm square divided by a square. So what is the value of F here? That is F is equal to, F1 is equal to, F2 is equal to F. Then F value is also same. So that is equal to root 2 into g m square divided by a square plus 1 by 2 g m square divided by a square. So take g m square by a square common. The net force that is equal to g m square divided by a square bracket of root 2 plus 1 by 2. So this is the net force acting on the fourth particle. It is placed on the fourth corner of a square. See here, in this problem they are given the four particles are the places at the four vertices of a square. So the mass of each particle is same and the distance between each particle is also same, that is a. The mass of first particle, second, third and fourth particle is that is same, that is em, and the distance between this particle is, that is a, or the side of a square is given, that is a. So here we are going to find out what is the net force acting on the fourth particle of mass m. The first one we are going to find out what is the F1 force, the force of attraction between these two particles, and the force of attraction between these two particles. So after that the force of attraction due to the second particle of mass m. So that means we are going to find out F1, F2 and F3 value. So after that, so the F1 is a vector and this also vector, we are going to find the resultant force acting on this particle due to F1 vector and the F2 vector, so that the resultant is also acting in the same direction. The resultant force value is, that is root 2 times of force, right? So then F3 force is, that is gma square divided by 2a square. So the net force acting on this particle due to all the masses, so that is resultant force plus F3 force. So then the net force acting on the particle of mass m, so that is equal to net force is equal to resultant force plus F3. So we are substituting the resultant force value, F3 force value, simplify this one, finally we will get the net force acting on the particle of mass m placed at the fourth corner of a square, so that is equal to gm a square divided by a square bracket of root 2 plus 1 by 2. See the problem here. The gravitational force between two bodies is F. If the masses of each body is doubled, the distance between them is reduced to half. The force between two bodies is. Okay, see here, initially they are given. So consider this is one body of mass is m1 and this another body of mass is m2 and separated by the distance, that is r. Then the force of attraction between these two is, that is F. Okay, see here. Then the force is equal to F is equal to G into m1 into m2 divided by r square. This is our equation number 1. So that is F1, that is the force between these two body of masses m1 and m2 are separated by the distance r. So that F1 is equal to G into m1 into m2 divided by r square. In second case, they doubled the masses of a body. So then the mass of each body is doubled. So that is m1 dash is equal to 2m1 and m2 dash, that is equal to 2m2, and the distance is reduced to half, that is r dash is equal to r by 2. Okay, substitute the values here, that is F2 is equal to G into m1 value is, that is 2m1, m2 value is, that is also 2m2, and the distance, that is r square. So here that is r dash square. So its value is r by 2 whole square, right? So simplify this one. So then F2 is equal to G into 2 into 2 is, that is 4 m1 into m2 divided by r by 2 square. So this is r square divided by 4. Take this to numerator. Then F2 is equal to 4 into 4 G into m1 into m2 divided by r square. So 4 into 4 is, that is 16 G into m1 into m2 divided by r square. See here, then F2 is equal to 16 G into m1 into m2 by r square. So this is nothing but the force, that is F1 value G into m1 into m2 by r square. So substitute here, then F2 is equal to, that is 16 times of F1. F2 is equal to 16 times of F1. See here, a rocket is fired vertically with a speed of 5 km per second from the earth's surface. How far from the earth does the rocket go before returning to the earth? So they are given, mass of earth is given, mean radius of the earth is given, and G value is also given. Okay, see here. So in this problem, they are given a rocket is fired vertically with a speed of V is equal to, that is 5 km per second, 5 km per second from the earth's surface. How far from the earth does the rocket go before returning to the earth, right? So here consider this is the earth surface. So consider this earth surface. The rocket is fired from the earth surface with a speed of, that is 5 km per second, 5 km per second vertically in upward direction. And here we are going to find out how far from the earth does the rocket go before returning to the earth. So that is, here we are going to find out the H value. So we are going to apply the law of conservation of mechanical energy. So first one, we are going to apply the law of conservation of mechanical energy of a rocket on the surface of the earth. After that, we are going to apply the law of conservation of mechanical energy or the energy at this position. Okay, see here, according to the law of conservation of energy, the total energy on the surface of the earth, the total energy is nothing but it is sum of kinetic energy and potential energy. First we are going to find out the kinetic energy of the rocket on the surface of the earth, right? So that is 1 by 2 m into v square. Here the rocket, it is moving with a speed of 5 km per second. So that is given. Next one, potential energy, that is equal to minus g m into m divided by r. So this is a kinetic energy and this is a potential energy. The total energy that is equal to 1 by 2 m into v square minus g into capital M into small m divided by r, right? So after that, the total energy. So this is the initial total energy, and next one we are going to find out the final total energy, that is sum of kinetic energy and the potential energy, right? So here the rocket at a maximum height, the speed of that rocket is 0. So then the final kinetic energy of the rocket at maximum point is 0 minus the potential energy is, that is m divided by r plus h, right? Okay, so here this is the initial total energy. The initial total energy equal to the kinetic energy is 1 by 2 m into v square and potential energy is minus g m into m divided by r. Then the initial total energy, that is equal to 1 by 2 m into v square minus g into m divided by r. Then the final total energy, that is equal to kinetic energy plus potential energy at the maximum position. At this position the velocity of the rocket is at 0. So then the kinetic energy at the maximum position is 0. The final kinetic energy is 0 plus potential energy at this height. The potential energy is minus g into capital M into small m divided by r plus h. So according to this law, the total initial energy, that is equal to total final energy. The initial total energy, that is equal to final total energy. So here ITE indicates that the initial total energy, that is equal to final total energy. Here the initial total energy, that value is, that is 1 by 2 m v square minus g into capital M into small m divided by r, that is equal to the final total energy minus g into capital M into small m divided by r plus h. Okay, in next step we will take m common. From this relation take m common. What are the remaining terms? That is 1 by 2 v square minus capital G capital M divided by r, that is equal to minus capital G capital M small m divided by r plus h. Here small m get cancelled. Then what are the remaining terms here? 1 by 2 v square minus capital G into capital M divided by r, that is equal to minus capital G into capital M divided by r plus h. So substitute all the values here, that is 1 by 2 as it is. What is the v square value? So that is v is equal to 5 km per second. Convert this into meter per second. 5 into 10 to the power is 3 square minus capital G value is, that is 6.67 into 10 to the power is minus 11. Mass is 6 into 10 to the power is 24 divided by the radius of the earth is, that is 6400 kilometer or 6.4 into 10 to the power 6 meter, right? So the radius of the earth is 6.4 into 10 to the power 6 meter. This is equal to minus, as it is, capital G value is 6.67 into 10 to the power is minus 11 into mass is 6 into 10 to the power is 24 divided by r plus h, that is 6.4 into 10 to the power is 6 plus h, right? Simplify this one. See here, substitute all the values and simplify this one. So what is the v value here? 5 into 10 to the power of 3 whole square minus g value is 6.67 10 to the power of minus 11 into 6 into 10 to the power of 24 divided by 6.4 into 10 to the power of 6, that is equal to minus 6.67 into 10 to the power is minus 11 into 6 into 10 to the power is 24 divided by 6.4 into 10 to the power of 6 plus h, right? So simplify this one. So 5 square is, that is 25 into 10 to the power of 6 divided by 2 minus 6.67 into 6, that is 40.02 into 10 to the power of 13 divided by 6.4 into 10 to the power of 6. So that is equal to, again this value is minus 40.02 into 10 to the power is 13 divided by 6.4 into 10 to the power of 6 plus h. So after that 25 divided by 2 is, that is 12.5 into 10 to the power of 6, and this value is 62.53 into 10 to the power is, that is 6, right. So that is equal to minus 40.02 into 10 to the power 3 divided by 6.4 into 10 to the power of 6 plus h. Simplify this one, we will get the h is equal to 1.6 into 10 to the power is 6 meter, right. So this is the solution of this problem. See the last problem here. The escape speed of a projectile on the earth's surface is 11.2 km per second. The body is projected out with a thrice of this speed. What is the speed of the body far away from the earth, right? So what is the problem here? The escape speed of the projectile on the earth's surface is, that is 11.2 km per second. So that is that they are given the escape speed or escape velocity, that is 11.2 km per second. The body is projected out with a thrice of this speed. What is the speed of the body far away from the earth? Okay, see here, the first one, the escape speed of the body is given, right. So that is 11.2 km per second, and that body is projected with a thrice of this speed. So then initial speed of that rocket or that body, that is equal to thrice of escape velocity or escape speed. Then we are going to find out what is the speed of the body far away from the earth surface. So then we are going to find out the final speed of the rocket or the body. Okay, see here is also we are going to apply the law of conservation of energy. So that is the initial total energy that is equal to final total energy. Initial total energy that is equal to final total energy. So initial total energy means it is sum of kinetic energy plus potential energy, right. Potential energy that is equal to, here is also same, final kinetic energy plus final potential energy, right. Okay. So what is the initial kinetic energy expression here? That is initial kinetic energy, that is 1 by 2 m into v suffix I square plus here potential energy is, that is minus g mm divided by r plus r. So here this is minus g capital M small m divided by r, that is equal to the final kinetic energy, that is 1 by 2 m into v suffix f square plus the final potential energy. So the now body is away from the earth surface. So in that case the body, if the body is at infinite distance from the earth surface, so then in that case the gravitational potential energy is 0, right. Okay, see here the final potential energy of the body is at infinite distance, its value is 0. So next one, this is equal to, this is 1 by 2 m into v suffix I square minus g into capital M into small m divided by r, that is equal to 1 by 2 m into v suffix f square, right. So what do you mean by this one? This is the kinetic energy minus potential energy, that is equal to 1 by 2 m v suffix f. So that is the final kinetic energy, right. Then it is kinetic energy minus potential energy, that is equal to final kinetic energy. So there is a condition for the escape velocity or the escape speed. So when the kinetic energy and the potential energy both are equal, so then only that body will escape from the earth gravitational field. So then potential energy that is equal to the kinetic energy, potential energy that is equal to kinetic energy, then only that body will escape from the earth gravitational field. Okay, so here we are substituting in this case, that is 1 by 2 m into v suffix I square minus, that is 1 by 2 m into v square, that is v suffix square, that is equal to 1 by 2 m into v suffix f square, right. So here 1 by 2 1 by 2 1 by 2 get cancelled, mass get cancelled, right. The what are the remaining terms here? That is the final speed of the body, that is the final speed of the body, that is v suffix f square is equal to v suffix I square minus v suffix e square, right. So here what is the condition? If the potential energy and the kinetic energy both are equal, then only that body will be escaped from the earth gravitational field. So then its kinetic energy becomes 1 by 2 m into v suffix e square. So here 1 by 2 get cancelled, mass get cancelled. The remaining is the final speed of the body or the rocket, that is equal to initial speed minus escape speed. So already they are given the final speed square, that is equal to initial speed is thrice of escape speed of the body minus escape speed. See here, the final speed is equal to 3 times of escape speed square minus escape speed. So simplify this one, v suffix f square is equal to 9 v suffix e square minus v suffix e square, right? So then v suffix f square is equal to 8 times of v suffix e square, right? So then v suffix f is equal to under root of 8 into v suffix e. So this is the final velocity or the final speed of the rocket at infinite distance, right? So in this problem they are given the escape speed of the body on the surface is given, and that body is projected with a thrice of this speed. So then what is the final speed of that body? It is away from the earth's surface. Here is also we are applied the law of conservation of energy, that is the initial total energy equal to initial final total energy. So initial total energy is kinetic energy plus potential energy, and here is also final kinetic energy plus final potential energy. So here we are substituting all the values here, right? So then kinetic energy, that is 1 by 2 m into v suffix I square minus potential energy g m divided by r, that is equal to final kinetic energy, that is 1 by 2 m into v suffix f square. So then final potential energy is 0 because that body is away from the earth's surface. If the body is at infinite distance, so then potential energy of that body is 0. Then there is one more condition for the escape speed. If the kinetic energy and the potential both are equal, then only that body will be escaped from the earth gravitational field. So then we are replacing this term by kinetic energy. So its expression is 1 by 2 m into v suffix I square minus 1 by 2 m into v suffix e square is equal to 1 by 2 m into v suffix f square. Here 1 by 2 get cancelled, mass get cancelled. The remaining is the final speed of the body, that is equal to initial speed minus escape speed. So then v suffix f square is equal to 9 of v suffix e square minus v suffix e square. Then the final speed of the body or rocket, that is equal to root 8 times of escape speed. Thank you.